Whoa! Okay, welcome back, everyone. Today we are back, and today it is time for week 2. Week 1 ended, and I'm sorry I'm a bit late to this one. Today, for me, it is Wednesday. Usually I would have filmed it on Tuesday, but I had an absurd amount of homework last night, and then the Minnesota Twins was game. Oh man, what am I saying? Then the Minnesota Twins game was on, and so I had to watch that because, I'm a Twins fan. So, it's time for week number 2. I did mediocre in week 1, and I should have totaled up the stats that I got right and wrong, but I didn't. So, we're just going to keep moving on. So, I'm probably just going to get started. Starting off with week number 2, we got Thursday night, tomorrow night for me. Probably going to be the night of for you. I'm sure I'll be uploading this on Thursday. Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Actually, it's the other way around, but still, I always try to say the home team second and then the away team first. But I said it the other way around, but that's okay. So, Bengals versus Browns. So, the Cincinnati Bengals lost 16-13, I believe, or was it 19-16? Pretty sure it was 16-13 to the Los Angeles Chargers last week. Yeah, it just so happened that the Bengals kicker, pulled a hammy and missed the field goal, the game-tying field goal. So the Chargers won the game, but this time, I feel like, to me, Joe Burrow showed a lot of promise in the game. I really like the way he looked. I like the way he's going to move on. So I think that Burrow's going to have a good game. And then the Cleveland Browns, it's the Browns. They got swamped last week in Baltimore, and even though a lot of people are picking the Browns to win this one, I'm going to have to disagree. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'm going to say that the Bengals beat the Browns. There's one last week that I picked that a lot of people didn't agree with either. But I'm trying to find... Oh, it was the Chargers and Bengals, and I picked the Bengals to win, and they would have won if they would have made the field goal. Next up, we've got the New York Giants and the Chicago Bears. So the New York Giants last week, they lost on Monday night to the... Who did they lose to? The Pittsburgh Steelers. Giants, their offense showed promise. They showed Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. My boy, I said in my video last week, I said Daniel Jones has hope and he could be the quarterback for the future. Insert that clip right now. Daniel Jones, I can't lie, I like Daniel Jones as a quarterback. He's like, I also like Drew Lock, and I don't know why. But I just think Daniel Jones, I wouldn't say he's the guy to get it done, but he could be the guy to get it done. See, I told you he'd be the quarterback for the future, and he certainly showed very good, and I just realized I'm wearing a Twins shirt, which is pretty ironic that I made my intro like that. But for this one, I didn't talk about the Bears yet. So Chicago, they beat the Detroit Lions. I picked the Lions to win that game, but they beat the Lions by one score. I don't remember what the point was, but they would have won it, or they would have lost the game, and Detroit would have won if DeAndre Swift would have not dropped that wide open pass in the end zone. What a rookie start for Swift. Just kidding. I actually still really like him. I like him. He's a good player. I like him a lot. But for this one, this one's close, but I'm going to go with the Bears. I just think that Mitchell Trubisky had a great game last week. Not what I was expecting. I was expecting 4 interceptions, and somehow Trubisky actually did good. So I'm going to give this one to the Bears. Next up, we've got the Los Angeles Rams and Philadelphia Eagles. So the Rams played on Sunday night versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Rams were looking pretty good, I can't lie. They beat Dallas. People are giving Dallas Super Bowl opportunities, and even though it is week 1, and I get that, even beating a team that people are saying that high, that is certainly going to be a good look for the Rams, even though it was week 1. So I like the Rams in this matchup. But then we've got the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost to Washington. Sorry, but that just happened. Yeah, they lost to the Washington FT, or FT Washington, whichever way of soccer team you want to call it. We're going to say FT Washington this episode, because, yeah. So, I don't know how Philadelphia lost to them. So, we're going to go with the Rams on this one. Even though, this could be a bounce-back game for the Eagles, blah, blah, blah. I just think that the Rams looked really good on Sunday night, and so I do like the Rams in this matchup. Next up, we've got the Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys. So the Falcons lost to the Seattle Seahawks last week. It's Seattle. And then we've got the Dallas Cowboys. They lost to the Rams on Sunday night. It was an okay game, I'd say. Sunday night's game was pretty good. There were certainly some missed opportunities. Ezekiel Elliott did good, though, and so I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win this one. Then we've got the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Panthers lost to the Las Vegas Raiders last week. Not a super outstanding game, but it happened. And then America's Game of the Week was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week at the New Orleans Saints. To be honest, the Buccaneers looked better than I thought they would. They didn't win the game. I did not expect them by any means to win the game. In fact, if they would have won the game, I probably would have cried because that's how much I didn't expect it to happen. But it was still a good game, and I think the Buccaneers actually do have potential. They could have playoff potential this year if they can get it all working together. So for this one, I do like the Buccaneers. I'm starting to doubt them, or not doubt them. I'm starting to give a bit more hope in them. But I need to see another week or two of good play before I actually have hope in them. But I think they looked better than my expectation. So we're going to pick the Buccaneers to beat the Panthers. Next up, we've got the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Jets. Well, San Francisco, last week they lost to the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, Arizona has potential, playoff team, Kyler Murray. No, I don't like the Cardinals. I just don't see success in them. So, pretty sad loss for the Niners. Tough to be them. And now Richard Sherman's also on the injured list, which just makes their never-ending problems worse. Then we've got, it's the New York Jets. They lost last week to the Buffalo Bills. Even though the 49ers are very banged up, I'm still going to go with the Niners. I thought about saying the Jets, but I'm going to say the Niners. Just by a little bit. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to go with the Niners, though. Then we've got the Denver Broncos and Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams played on Monday night. The Broncos played against the Tennessee Titans. They lost the game, even though the Titans had 4 missed field goals. Steven Gostkowski. Just kidding. So the Broncos, to be honest, they looked pretty good. But Von Miller's out for the year. Tough to be them. Broncos did show some flashes of their offense with Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy. I liked the way they looked. And then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're kind of a playoff contender every year, unless Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt. Then they're not a playoff contender. But Steelers certainly played good against Tennessee this weekend, even though they didn't play Tennessee. They played the New York Giants, my bad. Ben Roethlisberger looked good in his bounce back, and so for this one, I'm going to have to go with the Steelers. But I could see the Broncos winning this one. Then we've got... Who is next? Then we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. So, Jacksonville beat the Indianapolis Colts last week in a game that no one really expected. I still expect the Jaguars to tank for Trevor because that's how it's going to happen. Jaguars are still a bad team, and Gardner Minshew just had an awesome day. And then the Tennessee Titans, again, they missed 4 field goals. Steven Gostkowski did, and they still somehow won the game. But we're going to have to go with the Titans for this one. I just think that they overall have a better team, certainly by a lot. And I just don't like the Jaguars. If the Jaguars have a good year this week, I'm just going to be like, bro. Actually, though, that's going to be crazy if they have a good week. So, if the Jaguars come and win this one, that'd be crazy. But I'm going to go with the Titans. Then we've got the Detroit Lions and the Greenback Packers. Obviously, the Lions, they lost in a very close game to the Chicago Bears. The Lions certainly showed potential that they have hope in the future. Matt Stafford looked great. DeAndre Swift, aside from that, I still like the way he looked. Kenny Galladay's my boy. He's such an underrated receiver. You know why? I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. And so, I know my division, I know the NFC North, and I know Kenny Galladay is an underrated receiver. Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I'm pretty sure I talked about it in my video last week, and yet he caught like 2 touchdowns or something. But Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he's an underrated receiver. I wouldn't quite say Devontae Adams is. He's pretty hyped up, so I wouldn't say he's underrated or overrated. I kind of like where they pick him. Allen Robinson. People say he's underrated, but I don't see a lot out of Allen Robinson, but I can see where people come from with it, though. If he plays good over the next couple weeks, then I'll respect you more. But then... so I never actually made the picks. Then we got the Lions versus the Green Bay Packers, who beat the Minnesota Vikings this week. Aaron Rodgers completely wrecked the Minnesota defense. He had like 300 and something pass yards at least. He threw 4 touchdowns, I'm pretty sure, and it was a terrible game. Packers won 43-34, and they certainly showed why they're still a playoff and division contender team again. So for this one, I'm going to have to go with the Packers. Then we got the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. The Bills beat the New York Jets last week in a pretty easy game, and the Miami Dolphins lost to the New England Patriots. Bills are an AFC contender this year. I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. I like their chances. And the Jets, it's the Jets. Or not the Jets. I'm looking at the wrong one. Hold on. Which one am I looking at? Oh, Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins, it's the Dolphins. So I'm going to have to go with the Bills. Then we've got the Minnesota Vikings and the Indianapolis Colts. So Minnesota, again, they lost 43-34 against the Greenback Packers last week. Their defense was absolute garbage. They allowed 300 or 400 or something yards in the air and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. It was terrible. 4 touchdowns, my bad. So they've got a lot of work to do. But their offense was still looking pretty good. Adam Thielen, he had 110 yards or something like that. And he had 2 touchdowns, and Thielen's my guy. So I really liked him. Dalvin Cook on his new contract, he still had like 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was still pretty good, but the Packer defense they were pretty good. This was a big offensive game, but the Viking defense was not very good. And then we got the Indianapolis Colts, who found a way to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Phillip Rivers had like 360 pass yards and a touchdown, but he also threw 2 interceptions. And interceptions are a big key I look at in this game because Rivers is a big interceptions guy. And so that's why Indianapolis didn't punt a single time during the game. Why? Because they're such a turnover-prone team. And that is why I'm going to have to go with the Vikings. Even though I know I picked them last week, home field, whatever. But even though they're terrible defense, I feel like hopefully they should make a step up against a quarterback that's not Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Because, I mean, it's the Colts. They've got Michael Pittman and Phillip Rivers. And who else? Pittman's a rookie. And then Rivers, he's literally like a grandpa. That's how old he is. Just kidding. Doesn't he have a bunch of kids, though? I'll insert how many kids he has. But, Colts and Vikings, this one was close for me, but I'm going to go with the Vikings, but in a close match. I just think that the Colts defense did not also play good at all last week. Both defenses were terrible last week. But I could see more improvement for the Vikings. I know the Colts offense was pretty good too, but I just feel like with a tough loss, I mean, I know they lost to the Jaguars, but the Vikings lost to their biggest rivals, the Green Bay Packers, at home. I think that's going to hurt them more, and I think that's going to give them a bit more motivation in this game. And I just think overall they'll play better because they got no sacks last week. So in a close one, I'm going to give it to the Vikings. Then we got the late afternoon games, and I'm going to kind of hurry up because I know this is getting a long video. We got the FT Washington versus the Arizona Cardinals. Washington somehow beat the Philadelphia Eagles last week, and the Arizona Cardinals beat the San Francisco 49ers. Washington, I don't see any potential for them this year, even though they somehow beat Philly. And Arizona, I mean, they beat the former Super Bowl appearing San Francisco. But then again, they do have a bunch of injuries, and Richard Sherman was out there for most of the game, but now he's on the injury reserve. But for this one, I'm going to have to go with Arizona, just because I don't like Washington. They're just not very good. So we're going to have to go with the Cardinals. Then we got the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. This game, to be honest, I really like this matchup. I think it could be a good one. But I'm going to have to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, everyone kind of knows that Cleveland Browns certainly could not figure out Lamar Jackson last week and Mark Ingram. And they had another awesome game. So, is the Houston defense going to stop them? Nah. We're going to go with Baltimore. Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. So the Chiefs won last Thursday. They played against the Houston Texans. They took a pretty easy win. And the Chargers, again, they beat the Cincinnati Bengals 16-13 after a missed game-tying field goal from Cincinnati. But it's in Los Angeles, or Inglewood, whatever. But we're going to give it to Kansas City. They have another legitimate shot at winning the Super Bowl again this year. So we're going to give this one to Kansas City. Then we've got the Sunday night New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks. Patriots had a very nice win last week against the Miami Dolphins. Cam Newton showed why he could be their quarterback for the future. And even with Tom Brady leaving, Newton still stepped up to the plate with Bill Belichick. And he did great. I feel like Newton and Julian Edelman, I know Edelman, he's old, whatever, but I feel like Edelman's going to be a better receiver with Newton. But then we've got the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, I have the Seattle Seahawks making the Super Bowl this year. A lot of people don't agree with me, but I just think Seattle, they're the team to beat this year. They're going to be an underdog. So I'm going to go with Seattle. This is going to be a good game, the Super Bowl 48 rematch. But I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday night. And to close it out, Monday night, New Orleans Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders. This is the opener for that new stadium in Paradise, Nevada. I mean, the Saints, they took a win last week versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Raiders beat the Carolina Panthers. Okay, let me just say, I'm going to pick the Saints to win, but I could see the Raiders somehow. I just could see Las Vegas sneaking up somehow with the win. I don't know how, but I think that's certainly going to be awesome. So that one's going to close it out right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and comment down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Actually, I forgot something. For closest game this week, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. I just feel like both teams have a chance to win. I do like the Rams in this one, but Philadelphia could certainly take this one. So, closest game, we're going to go with the Rams versus the Eagles. And the most lopsided game for me, I am kind of sorry if you are a Chargers fan. I actually know someone that's a Chargers fan. Shout out to Noah if you're watching this. Yes. I actually told him I'd give him $5 if the Chargers won this game, because they're not going to. But, so shout out to Noah if he's watching this. But I'm going to say most lopsided is going to be the Chiefs and the Chargers. Chiefs are going to roll to an easy win. Chargers, their uniforms last week weren't even that good. Dude, come on, neon pants and a white top? Nah, you got to have some darkness in it. It was all light colored. It was kind of weird looking. I didn't really like it. So, that's going to be it. Closest game is Rams versus Eagles. Most lopsided game is going to be Chiefs versus Chargers. That's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I already made my outro. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Peace out, everybody. Good night.